public today.
Yeah, you're all set.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order and we'll adopt our agenda and approve our minutes after we get a couple of people here. But we can just start talking about what's been going on and catch people up on anything critical.
I make the motion to adopt the agenda.
Yeah, but we can't yet.
Oh, we need people in order to do that?
Yeah. We're going, oh, we're just gonna talk without being officially part of the agenda.
Moving on.
Is this, oh, is this?
Yes, oh, I thought I had put it in there.
Okay. So, give me one, we'll jump to the director's report. What's going on?
Okay, yeah. So let's see. We've got upcoming stuff for programs. PJ Storytime is on Monday, Teen Nights tomorrow. Our D&D group has not been able to get things together quite yet, so we're going to try for another fresh start in January.
Nobody attending right now, or
it's a problem because of the kids who are coming need to be able to take the bus here. They're in high school, so they can do that, but they just haven't gotten their acts together to get the parents to sign the permission slips to get them here. And so
you have interested people.
Yeah, there's a group who wants to come, but they just and that proactive at doing it. So because exactly, they're teenagers. So we're gonna try again for careful. So we're hopefully that'll keep us going. We'll see where that's up.
So when do you think that's
January. We're trying for January 8th is the next day we're going to try for. The one thing that we do have coming up is Robin Catalano is going to do a program for us called about Indigenous tourism, which is something she just wrote about for the National Geographic. So I thought that would be a great thing. I think we're going to try for a Saturday and see if I can't get people here on a Saturday morning and see if that might be a better idea than. So it looks, the article she wrote is great. It was really interesting. So craft circle, we are going to add in a Saturday craft circle so that we can try and get some other people. So we're taking one Monday away and we're going to do a Saturday and see how that goes. So hopefully we'll get some new faces there. I wasn't here for it, but we definitely had a good turnout for the Santa pictures. We had 10 families show up and all the pictures came out lovely. The holiday market, believe it or not, I counted up 186 people who came through the doors. So that was pretty cool. And our homeschool holiday party, we had 29 people. So 12 kids and 9 little ones and 8 parents. So that was also another good turnout. And the gingerbread house, it was very raucous from what I heard too. Yes. Poor Cheryl was a little flustered. She said it was got a little crazy, but it's kind of like you have the little boys who are like, I don't want to do the craft. And then you have the little girls who are like, I'm going to do the craft nice and calm and quiet. And then, you're trying to keep these two different groups going. And so and we did our gingerbread houses this year, and we had 30 children and 20 adults. So it worked out really well because we thought we weren't going to be able to fit everybody, but everyone who wanted to come was able to come. So that was nice. And it was quick. We were done in we were done in an hour, but that was cleaning up. So, really? But people just came in. Most of them know what to do. So they just like go quickly and they're like, yeah, we're going to do our thing and then go.
And that's because they've done it before? Or?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, a lot of them have. I think there was only one family that I had to explain how to do it. Strange thing this month in terms of circulation, our young adult books. Oh, sure.
I just mentioned something about blood drive.
Oh, yeah.
So we were one short at our goal, which is so frustrating because we were slow to get the signups, and then rallied and we had more people than the goal. And then a couple people no showed and you're not gonna shape like that. But today I was at the blood drive in Averill Park
Yeah.
and I'm chatting with the people who are hosting it there. And the guy said, and he said, "Oh, we just had the lady who just came in. She was supposed to be at your blood drive, but her car caught on fire on the way home from work.
Oh my
So she
God.
couldn't go. But look at her 2 days later, she's going to the blood drive." So I was like, all right, I guess I forgive her. That's a good excuse.
That's a very good excuse. My car got it. That's, yeah, if ever there was an excuse, that's definitely one. Wow. So is 25 the right number then, or do I need
25 is the right number, yeah.
Okay.
So 26 was
So circulation, I thought was interesting because it was down just a tiny bit, but for November, except for our young adult books, we had double the number of kids checking out. I mean, we went from 7 to 15, which was, but still good. Keep it coming. It was like when it's kind of like when homeschoolers used to check things out. I would check out 100 books, and it's like that boosted. I mean, I used them all, but still. Our circulation for year to date is above what slightly above, nothing huge, but it's kind of keeping around the same. And our numbers definitely got boosted in terms of visits to the library because of November when everybody came in to sign their affirmations. So, but it still looks really nice when you go up from, have 200 more than you normally do in one, which makes sense. Patrons with active cards, you can see all that. We did have 2 new patrons in November, adults, and 3 new kids in November. Our collection, because we had all of the shipping issues that I told you about last month, we didn't get any books this month. So for November, there was nothing added. There was also no DVDs to add because there was nothing new out that I could put in. So
did that finally get, because I saw you bring out a stack of books.
Yeah,
they got
it all got shipped, and and I just figured out all the billing part of it to make sure that they didn't bill us, and we're all good with all that. That was in there for a while, so we'll see what happens. I'm not sure going forward whether or not they'll get better. I'm assuming they're going to get better, but we'll see. So other stuff, we were closed on Thursday and Friday, holiday market, did do some business. I actually did do a bunch of library business during the holiday market, and I think that was a good thing. So I would recommend that for next year. Having someone at the desk to like, oh, can I just check out a book? Yeah, of course. So,
You think we should just sort of consider ourselves open and like have a staff person on?
I wouldn't consider myself open necessarily because then people would think we're open our normal business hours, like from 12 to 5, whereas we're only open the market from 10 to 2. So we could say, hey, you can check out books, or you can do other stuff while you're here.
During that.
Yeah. So at least have one staff member, if not myself or somebody else.
Yeah.
We did have a snow day on December 2nd. I attended a e-content advisory committee meeting. Some new things happening. We are adding, it just went live today actually, something called Comics Plus to our online catalog. So it is giving you tens of thousands of new comics, manga, graphic novels, tons of stuff that we'll now have access to, which I'll be adding to the website very soon. So that's really good. Like that's a huge thing.
To really promote different
things. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully, I'll get that going as soon as I can next week, probably, but that's there. And let's see. There are libraries opting out of Hoopla. I wanted to just show you guys the cost of what Hoopla is doing for us. I think it's still something that we have 118 active users of Hoopla. And the cost is definitely up from what it was last year. Just something to be aware of. Do we want to at some point I don't think we should get rid of it, but at some point we might want to change. Like right now, our maximum price point is $2.99 per circulated item, and that you get 5 per month. So some libraries are taking it down to 3 per month, or like taking it down from $2.99 to $1.99. So just to, I think for the new year, we might want to just think about that because the prices are getting higher.
When you say some are opting out, what are they doing instead? An alternative, or they're just doing nothing?
Yeah, Albany's going to be getting rid of it. They're done with Hoopla. I don't remember who else it is.
Because of expense?
Yeah, well, they have like thousands of people using it, and it's a pay per circ. So it's every time someone takes something out, you pay for it. So with this, I don't remember how many items it is, but like probably about 100 items is what we're paying for. So other online things, you pay per item. So if I wanted to get a book, say Stephen King, Pet Cemetery, right? Mm-hmm. If we're doing it online through Libby, you get so many circulations per time you buy that book. So say they give it to you for 2 years or 36 checkouts, whichever comes first. And then after that 2 years, you have to buy it again. And it's expensive. It's $50 usually, about thereabouts, for one item like that. Whereas Hoopla, everything is pay on. Oh, and also if the Pet Cemetery has a ton of waiting list, you have to wait for it. You can't take it out because you only have so many copies. So maybe maybe 10 libraries have Pet Cemetery. There's only 10 copies available. Mm-hmm. Hoopla is different because you pay, it's immediate access. So I want Harry Potter. I can take out Harry Potter immediately. Like I just click on it. There's no waiting list, but the library will then pay $2.99 every time I take that out. So, it can get expensive if you're allowing people to take out a lot of stuff, but that's why we have the 5-item limit. And
Do most people use the 5-item limit?
A lot of people do. Yeah. And they want the digital, but they also want the immediate access. That's the other thing. So Libby is moving towards doing things where they give collections that are immediate access. Right now we have, which ones do we have? Right now, if you look on it, I think it's, I know there's a romance package. And we're going to do mystery. So it's similar in that it's paper, it's like a immediate access, but we don't pay circulation. So they're hoping that Libby will start doing stuff like that as well, and so kind of moving away from Hoopla and doing access for that.
Yes. So does Libby have the same types of things? Like in other words, like I associate Hoopla with like the movies and the TV shows and things like that.
Yeah, Libby has some movies and stuff, but not a lot. Yeah, I think Hoopla has definitely got more of that. I wouldn't say, and Libby has more of the like new releases and the most popular stuff, whereas Hoopla will change what they have. So, they might say, hey, we're not going to have Harry Potter this year. We're going to get, we'll take that off of so it changes depending on what they want it to be.
And with Libby, the cost to us is?
That's what we pay for our e-content. When we say we're paying so much money
so we're already doing that and there's nothing above.
No, yeah. We can go above if we wanted to, but we don't usually do that. Just because the only time we've done that is during the pandemic.
Because I would think that if people were like, oh, it's a snow day and I want to read a book.
Yeah.
They want the instant, no, I don't want to go out and go to the library.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Well, the users, right?
Yeah, the users have changed. But I would say
it's more of it's just a gradual increase of users rather than.
Yeah, I'd have to look and see. I mean, I've got the numbers that tell you how many. I mean, I can tell you how many books, how many movies have been taken out, how many TV shows, per quarter or per month. I'm sorry.
like showing like a higher demand in a certain section, we base it off of that, you know?
You don't want to, though, like start saying, okay, we're going to have Libby available only in June. Or not Libby, sorry, Hoopla only available in June and not in,
Yeah, you
you know,
kind of have to
because
be
that
wrong.
ends up becoming,
Like,
yeah.
whereas we'll bump it up to 5 during the winter months, but the other months we're gonna do 3 kind of thing.
Oh,
Whereas,
I see.
you know,
I
to
see,
be
yeah.
you're limiting access when, and push people towards coming into the library for the things that they want access. We have access to it. We can get the books for you. Might take a couple days, but we can get them and just kind of push circulation back towards the library itself. During those particular months. See if we can increase. I mean, when it's warmer weather, easier to get transportation.
And Tim, what do you might not know this off the top of your head, so this is, trying to see if I'm phrasing this right. So what is do you have a sense of what the overlap is between items that are available through physical collection versus items that are only available through Libby or Hoopla? Yeah, I mean, because I'm just wondering, like, is any of it partly the material itself? Like I want this and it's available on Hoopla, but it's not available through our physical collection.
Absolutely.
Versus,
Because
is it-
nobody wants DVDs anymore.
uh-huh.
So think about movies and TV shows and things like that.
Mhm.
Nobody wants those kinds of things. I mean, I did a movie on Hoopla and streamed it to my TV. So I didn't need to, actually, it was on my Apple TV. So I was able to just watch that instead of running down here and saying, oh, let me grab the DVD really quick.
Mhm.
You know, so I think it's the convenience that people want, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of physical checkouts, we're still higher in terms of physical than we are electronic materials. So.
I guess what I was thinking of is like, okay, there's the British mystery series and that's available on Hoopla. And I
Yeah.
don't know that I've seen that available to check out
Yeah.
otherwise, right? Like, so is there,
That would be a
this is
big
a
analysis of.
It's not just a preference of, it's not just a preference of like what you said, like I'm
Right.
going to stream it. It's also, it
What's
expands
available.
the amount of content that
Oh,
are available.
100%.
So it's not just you can say this way.
Yeah.
There's more.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. There's so much more that's available to people. So,
I have seen the physical media. A little bit of a resurgence. Yeah, there's an article talking about how older generations are looking to cut down on the number of subscriptions. They don't like their
Yeah.
private information going out to all these giant corporations. Younger generations are seeing it as like trendy and retro.
oh, that kind of hurts.
So, what?
Well, I mean, can I tell you? We can see that just in terms, I mean, like if you look, DVDs last month, we had 172 were circulated and this month it was 151. So you could definitely like keep track and see what it looks like. That would actually be interesting to see. So for December, I'm assuming that probably we're going to end up with another $200 or so bill from Hoopla. So, it went up $400 from last year. I think if the costs continue to rise, I think we definitely need to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
But if it stays somewhere in between these two, I think that's still affordable and doable. So, so just to have it on our radar and keep it out there to make sure that we keep an eye on it. So the next thing I wrote in here is about ERO contribution, which is electronic reordering contributions, which everybody has to pay, and Upper Hudson pays a certain amount towards that, which is mandatory with what we do. And it looks like we're going to be, the Directors Association is going to recommend raising that amount to by 5% beginning in 2027. So that's another great thing. Prices are up and circulation's up, and that's just the way it is. So, and other good news is the Upper Hudson has purchased a subscription to the Wall Street Journal. So starting January 1st, we'll have that available. It'll be the same kind of access as what the New York Times is. So that should be pretty interesting.
You know, if we're getting anybody using the New York Times.
Well, I can look. Do I have it set? I don't know that I have it separated. I don't think that we are separated, but I'm not sure.
Be another good thing to promote, just as a reminder from the New York Times, but also it's nice to have that. And just Wall Street as well.
Yeah,
The
you're right.
main- I'll have to put it in the next list.
Okay. So attended the board meeting on December 15th, the Times town board meeting, and I forgot to get rid of my attendance of Nile conference. Construction grant update. I did speak to Chris at Upper Hudson about what we need to do in order to see if we can't get the roof to be part of the construction grant. And right now it looks like we need to have another SHPO review and see what they say, which would probably be fine. But he then did
Remind me what SHPO is.
State Historic Preservation Office. Yeah.
They're really.
Yeah,
They're
really. I can't imagine that they would say, sorry, you can't replace your old roof, but you know. Yeah, and it's only on one side, so. Yeah, exactly. Chris did recommend though that if we, since we're working with, Paul and Megan, that we from the architects, that we should, see if they can help. They could definitely work through all that stuff. So I'll reach out to them after the holidays and we'll get going on that. Let's see. I was out during not the full 2 weeks, but part of first week and part of second week of August or December. So I wasn't able to read to the kids at Berlin this month. I am going to start back up in January. I was able to, our tax levy has been submitted to the state comptroller. I was on the phone with them and I thought I wasn't doing it right because it was way too easy. And she's like, nope, it's actually that easy. Like, oh, okay. And she said, all we need to make sure is that we have it in our minutes that we decided to override the tax cap. So I was like, all right, I'm good then. Hit send. And the big thing that's coming up is this new Vega Discover interface for I've talked about this before, for our website or our online catalog and interface. It's really nice. It's much nicer than the old one. There's a lot of new features, but it's easier to access. It's easier to manipulate and go through. So I haven't had a chance to meet with the staff just because of all the craziness that's been going on. So I'm going to be going to do individual training with everybody so everyone knows how to work it. And I'm going to be doing some more email stuff and putting things out. We've got all this great information that I can put out on the website and on social media. It is technically live now, so I could give people the email address or the website, but we're going live officially on the 1st, but the old interface will still be running. So after that, so I'm going to keep the old interface for the first 2 weeks in January, pump out all that stuff that we need to know, and then after that I'll change it over to the new interface. So that'll help us give some times after the holidays, and it's kind of a bad time to year to be trying to get new information out to people. So it's like, let's just see if we do the first 2 weeks in January, maybe we should be okay. And the pictures that you see are fun friends who are doing the gingerbread houses, and your lovely daughter who was hanging out. I love that picture of her though. I thought that was just great. So. That's great. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for this month. Not that was not a lot.
Yeah. Any questions for Kim? Okay.
Sorry, do we know why the metal roof failed?
It's just really old.
Oh.
It's never been, I don't know when the last time that thing was replaced. It's really, really old. And I don't know why they didn't. Well, I think they ran out of money is why they didn't, but I know that this is asphalt, that is not. That's tin roof still, so it wasn't replaced in 2008 when they did the roof, so yeah, it's been a long time. Which is why we might be able to get it to be covered by our construction rate.
I'm looking at asphalt, at least, like.
Yeah.
What?
Something to match the rest of the building. So that
I'm not sure where we were.
Expensive, what you're using.
I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll keep working on that and then keep going with that. Okay.
All right, we're gonna backtrack and do our official business of officially adopting the agenda and approving the minutes. Sarah, now's your chance.
I would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
All right, any second, all in favor? Let's begin with the minutes. All right, somebody else, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the November meeting. Liz made the motion and a second. Okay, Sarah seconded it. Did everybody have a chance to read and review the minutes? Any questions, comments, corrections? Do you think PJ would do an actual story time? That was really funny and it was
He
really.
looked
He
terrified.
did look terrified, didn't he?
I was telling everybody at the town board meeting that we were doing PJ stories. And PJ Roeder, Norris Town Supervisor, someone was like, wait a minute, PJ, why don't you do the story time? And he was a little.
Deer in the head.
Yeah. Hold on. Probably do something fun to do if we give him enough time
Guest
to actually-
speakers,
Yeah.
guest readers.
I should have just said promise. Or else it's 2 days.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes? Okay, thank you. All right, so now we're moving on to treasury report. Richard is not with us tonight, so we will do this together. Oops. So I was just for the sake of making some conversation around this. So I'll be a couple of things of note that I noticed. Not that it's a surprise, but our event fundraising number is lower than anticipated because we were not able to have our second trivia night. So not unexpected, but you know, that is a big difference. But the budgeted number of 10,000 and our actuals of 5,400. There are a fair number of items that are slightly over budget at this point. Not by a lot and not by anything particularly concerning or, you know, reasons of that are concerning, but it is just noteworthy, especially since we're not quite done the year yet either. But payroll is, and I didn't try to divide this out to see if that right now or looks a little low, but we do still have the final month.
We
So
have
that
one
may
more
just even
pay.
out.
We have one more payroll
Okay,
to go.
yeah.
Although that might not, it's not going. We don't usually payroll is around like 3,000. So, and that's with mine and with everybody else's. So we won't be hitting that budgeted number. The way I do the budgeted number for the payroll is doing it at 52 weeks. So not taking out for days off, but
Yeah.
also
It's a smart way to do it, to make sure.
right. So that's why we have the access.
And I'll mention this since we're talking about that subject, because it's based on the hours. I
Yeah.
was with Richard away one day, I was doing the signatures, signing stuff, and I noticed the payroll numbers, the timesheets that a lot of people don't claim their 15 minutes at before opening and 15 minutes after opening, which we specifically have put in place so people are paid for the time they come in to get things ready and get things nice afterwards. And I know from being here that people are often here longer than that too.
Oh,
on
yeah.
some days.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think it's because they're not aware that they should do it?
No, they just don't want. No, they're like, no, it's fine. It's totally fine.
I see that.
I did ask him to
Overly
encourage them to
confident, yeah.
do that because we want to do that. We budgeted for it. It's, that's something that they should do. So anyway, that's kind of a little on the budget.
I mean, that does add up. So.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any other comments on where we are on financials? And those final numbers look funny because of the construction project.
Great. Which we'll be doing, according to the bookkeeper, or excuse me, the accountants, it'll be easiest to just do it as one big journal entry rather than doing small entries all throughout. So we'll figure all that out for the year end.
I didn't hear anything from Richard. I know we were talking still about moving some money and trying to figure out if we can get a better rate on have one account that's going to get the best interest, and then perhaps sub accounts or other ways that we can account for that. But I don't think he has visited Broadview. Follow up on that. Any comments on the balances?
We still have a view of the credit card.
No. Yes, I need to do that.
Should have told Richard. It's gonna be on Santa's naughty list. If he didn't. These three. Christmas. I'll make it up. Oh, and what happened, Kim? Was it a mail issue with the credit
Oh.
card?
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, I feel like I actually just remembered that we got another letter. So remember you sent out the certified mail of the check to MR2.
Yeah.
It arrived damaged. Like there's a big hole in the middle of the check. So we have to send them another one. He sent me pictures.
I know.
I was like,
but I mean, God. Yeah, I know. It's not that old.
no, it's Malta. I'm not driving any further than I already do all the time, but if you want to drive it. Yeah, so I got that email yesterday. I just need to. So
that brings up the subject we're going to talk about in January, which is electronic payments.
yes, you definitely need to figure that part out.
So what had happened? I read the minutes more carefully. I'm sure I would know the answer, but
The first check was lost in space, never received. We had to cancel it.
Yeah, we canceled it.
and sent another one, which got a big hole in it en route to Malta.
And we sent it certified mail to make sure that it did actually get there. It got there, just a
Hole in the middle.
hole in the middle.
You just to send it by Maltese Falcon.
Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can the picture of it.
It seems like there's just more and more
There's
problems with the mail. And then also with all the deliveries, all of the Facebook groups are nothing but.
oh my gosh.
Get this mail.
Whose house is this?
They tried to get it. They
Oh
tried.
God, that really is a whole big hole in the middle of it.
They tried to get the bank to do it, to cash it, but they wanted to. And the other one, this is gonna be interesting. Because that's how we do all of ours. So that's the hole that was, so it must have gotten caught in something. Yeah. So.
All right, so if we're good on the treasurer's report, we'll move on to fundraising.
Well, everybody knows, the holiday market was quite a big success with bringing in $719. And you said eight, how many people did you say attended?
100 and something.
Thank you to Lee for donating your sales.
Yes, 186. 186 people.
180.
This is all right, yeah.
That was great. It was a lot of fun.
We had to cancel the taco trivia in November, and we're gonna really market the hell out of the next one. I'm proposing that we wait until Sunday, March 8th as the new date. How does that work for people? I'm thinking March is good because there's little going on and it's dreary and muddy and depressing, and so people want to do something, which is the opposite of what's happening in this last one when there was lots of stuff. People doing, so I think that might help us.
And that's not near St. Patrick's Day,
Right.
right? That's the
What
only
the Ides of March.
The Ides of,
Chances.
Oh, it
Well,
is.
his birthday's the 3rd, so there's usually we end the birthday weekend being the following weekend, so.
Well, it's a Sunday night, you'll be done with it.
And daylight savings time starts.
yes.
Oh.
These days.
Yeah, the last one was the
supposed to
daylight
be-
savings.
Well,
Yeah.
it happened to be the night, but it's got, it's Sunday, right? It's Saturday at the new governor.
Right.
And I thought the 15th was,
I'm just, not that, I don't think this has much impact, but March 7th is the corned beef dinner at the fire department. So I don't think it'll have any real overlap or anything issue.
Just so I'm in the, what's the reason we can't do Saturdays at the lemon?
yeah, so this was our availability. Yeah, for a weekend, Sunday. So I'm getting a yes on that?
Sounds good to me.
It's okay with me.
Okay. You see.
Anybody else?
And do we think that time of year taco is the way to go? I think of tacos as being more of a summery. And also, even though you never.
She's
taco.
I know.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
If it's not this time, it's then.
Yeah, I'm okay with taco, but the more I thought about the taco thing, it seemed like lots of. No, it's this. Whereas if you had like a lasagna, I mean,
I also have taco decorations, so let's get.
we can do another taco trivia when we. I was thinking we'll try to get what 3 on the calendar, so
Get out of my closet.
so we can have a summer taco trivia. This one would be a lasagna or something like that, something simple.
Do you think we should try to get, if we're gonna do 3, get them all the dates
Yeah,
set
that's what I'm saying.
and get and like
Have a
just have
calendar,
it,
and
yeah,
this is when
and
it
this
is,
and
yes, and let everybody know so that they don't say, oh, I had no idea.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's gonna be in the newsletter every single time, and yeah, I think we should have
yeah,
a calendar set up in advance in 2026 for here's when our. events.
fundraise, yeah.
Do save the dates at the bottom of every,
I love
whether or
it.
not actually people
Okay, shall I continue?
Yeah.
So as we all know, the recount showed that we were 66% in favor. The town went for the 414, so we got the $15,000 in income. The annual appeal mailing went out December 4th, and I got mine like right
Very
after, it went
fast,
out
yeah.
really fast. And as of today, we received $11,720 in income, not including the $3,000 that came in as in reaction to
That does,
or that, and not including the 2,000 you just.
Right, so
Right,
that does not include Sarah's 3,000, the 3,000 from the thing. Yes, the mad money, that's a good way to put it. And then the two, whatever,
That
20,
you just got.
that I
which
just
didn't know
got.
about 'cause I had-
slide, yeah, 2,100.
So what I have then is holiday market, 791, the 414, 15,000, plus the checks and online donations that came in response to people being disgusted about the miscount, which was 4,015, including that 3,000. And then the annual appeal before the 2,000 that you just mentioned was 11,720. So as of that, it was 31,526. So it's really 33,526.
yeah, I mean, I don't know that I consider the 15,000, like,
Yeah, that's not.
that's just,
Yeah. That won't
I mean,
happen.
it's not
It's
really,
like big money,
Yeah.
but
No.
if we
Well,
didn't have
Yeah,
it,
it'll come in.
January,
yeah, I mean,
February. Yeah.
I guess I just don't feel like it's mashed together. Yeah.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, the 414 is fundraising of sort, right?
No, Sally.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll take the 15,000 down, but the rest of it,
It's,
yeah, it's money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the annual appeal and the 414 miscount money that came in. And the holiday. All right,
So currently we're about 13.7 in annual appeals. So stuff.
Actually 13.8.
what we're, seeing,
And
and
it's
this
always
is,
a tail.
yeah.
We are.
And we haven't sent an email yet because I've been back this week, and, so that'll be going out tomorrow. And,
Actually, no, sorry, we're at 14.8.
So yeah.
yeah, we're gonna.
so we
get-
should
we're
be
gonna
well,
be-
well,
but it's-
yeah.
No, I'm just saying, just. Yeah. Doing
This is just anecdotal at this point because I haven't run a report yet, but just from entering all of the donations, definitely more new people. So whether that's because of the heightened awareness from 414 stuff or whatever, but definitely seeing new names, and quite a few large donations this year.
We just got $1,000, another $500, and
Yeah.
two $500 checks just today.
Yeah, so it's good.
It's been,
And this is early to have that much coming, right?
Yeah, 'cause I mean-
usually we're waiting into January to really get. the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah, we don't close it
Okay.
until the end of
January.
January, right?
yeah.
And you're also saying you're seeing, not just new people, but people further away, right? Sort of not locals.
I don't know about that. I mean, we always have the New York City group, that, but,
Who have second.
right, yeah.
There was one person who I think was from East Bush and was
I think that
donating.
was definitely because of the.
Yeah,
414.
they
That
were
was a-
donating
yeah.
to say congratulations on the 4,
Yeah, that's what I was
on
thinking,
winning the
the
vote.
Brazzers.
Donations coming in is the new strawberries.
Mm-mm.
No.
No,
not
the
so
only
much.
time we saw any kind of correlation was like immediately after when things were happening. That's when we saw the most. So.
So, just going back to the event stuff. You might have said this and I tuned it out. So is the plan to early in January, get the meetings going for the
Mhm.
planning of this, get the
That's it,
details,
we'll Get it on the calendar,
yeah,
then
and
we'll
get the
get it out,
promotion, yeah.
in the newsletter, and we'll make a plan for exactly what we're gonna do. We know the first one is gonna be trivia again, because we've already agreed on that, and then maybe the next one will be a bingo thing, that we had talked about the breakfast sandwich fundraiser idea. So the question is, do we want to mix it up and try new things, or do we try to stick with trivia because it did, but I mean, maybe that was a one-off because.
Right,
people
it was
didn't want to come to the
novelty,
last
right,
time,
yeah.
it Sort of remains to be seen.
Let's put a suggestion box up. It's trivia.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you saw, but on Facebook that people were asking to have a bake off, which,
Yeah.
you know, that might be something
Yeah.
that we could do to, you know, bring in
Yeah.
a little bit of
I bake off. Community. Yeah, I saw that.
something.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All the Hallmark movies have the Christmas pie bake off.
Right.
They have a thing.
Right. But that might be a fun thing to do as a fundraiser too. Okay.
Oh, it's my capybara. Things my children pick out. Yeah, that's the new, you don't know that's the new trending animal.
It is.
It's very small.
It is.
Capybaras are big.
Well, this one's in a cup, it must be.
Nothing, you know.
My daughter had.
Well.
A hamster. I mean,
Someone that I used to work with, just posted pictures from his trip to Japan, and they were at a
Capybara
capybara
cafe.
cafe.
Cafe?
Well, they're not really. They're anything.
Big zoo.
Can you drink a coffee while you do it?
Well, I think there are capybaras. Based upon my observations. It's small there. They went around.
The fascinating thing is apparently they have huge poop. Instead of, this is, 7-year-old and 9-year-old.
That's a fun fact.
Yes.
I sense a trivia question. Why? Do you know why? Why? Fascinating. Okay, I like
I
it.
want to know what scientist interviewed. Square.
So, like, are there intestines? Like, how does that work? That way?
Wow.
Seems uncomfortable.
I do. Like,
There was times looking up and I'm like, really?
Meeting, so we could start doing that. And there's I think we've done before. So the main thing in building and grounds we covered with Kim, working on getting the roof issue dealt with. And then we talked last time about the fact that this next year we need to do some serious planning because we've got serious stuff coming up with painting. We've got steps that need repair. We got a bunch of stuff. So that will be the time of year where everything gets deferred to January. We'll talk about that.
Last week, when we sat and played mahjong, it was very windy,
Yeah.
and it sounded like that window was gonna just come in on us. It
Oh
was
my
actually
really?
moving that much in the frame.
Wow.
While we
Wow.
were sitting there, it was like,
Oh, shoot.
We're having a windstorm tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was windy, but
Yeah. Huh.
Right.
Well, I mean,
I mean, those are all new, I mean, not new. Those were all replaced windows when they replaced this whole thing, right? Isn't that one? Oh, great. Well, that could actually be another energy grant, energy efficiency DLD
Mhm.
grant that we could maybe go for, replace all the windows. So that might be another project for. Yay. So,
Okay, so we'll move on to new business. I guess this is new business. Just wanted to bring up the January dinner, so library family dinner. So I think it's Yuli who's not available on the 11th, or is it? No, you are. Okay, somebody is who's not available that day. Richard? I don't know. Anyway, we didn't have one date that worked for everybody. So this was the date that worked for everybody but one. So Sunday, January 11th. We just have a couple things to confirm today. So Scott felt like he could host, even if we include
I've never.
even if we have spouses, which would bring us maybe to around 30 people. So our
January's clean. 10,
by what?
partners with one of them.
And so she doesn't. What time do we want to do this? Yeah, that was just a thrown out there as an idea.
I think that's better for you, right? Than have it open.
Better for me is, it seems early, but it's fine. I mean, what are we gonna do? We don't pop up or?
So
I don't think I put it, I wasn't thinking.
I thought that was what you agreed to.
No, that-
Ari, Marianne, and I have had a little email conversation, and what we thought might work would be if we did chili, so that we could have maybe like 4 pots of chili if 4 people want to volunteer to make chili, and then sides like cornbread, salad, chips, accompaniments, dessert.
I'll make a chili. I make chili a lot.
Okay.
So you'll have some that are not con carne and some that are.
Right, yeah, we'll have a variety, and then like beer and wine. And dessert, so I can send around something for us to sign up for each thing, and then does that work with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And people have pots, what do you call them? Pots or whatever.
I was like, I don't really know, this seems like more of an adult thing, so I probably won't be able to. Just, it's that season. It's what it is.
Yeah. And I think all the staff was available. Jody, we might need to give a ride. She didn't want to come in the dark, but maybe if Kevin's comes, he'll drive.
Yeah.
Right, so.
yeah, I'm happy to give her a ride. Also.
Did we plan some carpooling for parking purposes?
How many people, how many cars? I mean, we've got plenty of property, so we should be able to.
So definitely at 4 o'clock, is that what?
Sounds like 4 o'clock. Okay. So I'll send out a little invitation, formal invitation now, the time and all that. And
Did you really think it's too early? I mean, if it's at your house and you think it's too early.
Just in terms of, it seemed early in the day, but we are whatever, so I don't think it makes a difference. It's fine.
The other new thing we need to do is we need to approve the budget. The good news is we have had this done for quite some time since we had to do it for 414.
So
So
we did. We did it.
yes.
We asked to do it. I'm not there.
So we just need to, you wanted to take another look at that and we'll go ahead and there's no changes at this point. We left it as we had created it. There was nothing, nothing really new, the same changes we talked about. And
It may be in a better position now than we thought. When we were doing it.
mhm,
I think there was probably $5,000 swing. in the
right, yeah,
positive side.
yeah. I think our inclination, originally where we thought the next 414 that we would do would be in 2 years. I don't think, I think that's probably good. I don't know that we all want to do it again next year, especially on, but, that is something that we can, you know, be thinking about as well, because we will need to reckon with that, but.
Maybe I'll be a mistake again and a little bit money every year.
So, take a moment to review the budget and then we will take a vote to adopt that budget. We do still have quite a ambitious number in there for event fundraising, so even with the 414 money such, we have some big goals for that. That said, I think our annual appeal number based on the past couple of years and where we're trending this year is probably lower than it could be, so. Would someone like to make the motion?
I would like to move to accept the
In a second, Liz seconded, okay. Any comments, questions? Okay. All in favor? Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Any other new business? Old business. I just want to let people know, Kim and I met to do her review. So that was a good discussion and meeting. So that's been signed, finalized. I asked him to put these holiday bonuses in the payroll.
That's gonna go into this.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And I have the letters, for the staff, letting them know about that and their raise for next year, such as it is. So those are done. That's the only old business I had noted. Does anybody else have any other old business? There's no public, no call for public comment. I do have correspondence off the press from today's mail. This is from the League of Women Voters of Rensselaer County. It's addressed to me. Dear Ms. Peabody, our league would like to recognize the work you, your board, and the staff at the library did to identify the significant issues with election results in November. It was only due to your persistence that a recount occurred and accurate results were counted. The league believes that every vote should count and that the Board of Elections should verify the results with audits and checks to verify accuracy. We are requesting a meeting with Henry Zwack and Mary Sweeney to discuss the issues for this recent election and the specific actions they will be taking for the upcoming elections. We appreciate your professionalism and how you handled this problem. Your approach is certainly one that others can use as a successful model. Sincerely, Joan Rogers, the league president.
Oh, that's great.
Very nice.
That's
And it was
fantastic.
league from what,
Rensselaer
from
County.
Rensselaer County?
That's great.
That's really great.
Yeah, very nice letter.
Love it.
Also correspondence, because I haven't got back yet. Jody passed along a message, phone message, from Susan Greenhall with the nonprofit Free Speech for People, who wants to speak about the library vote. So this week I've been really very hectic. So I haven't had a chance to reach back out, nor have I had a chance to research what this group is. But so that's, Jody said she was very nice on the phone. So I will try to do that tomorrow as well.
They want to talk to you. They want to speak.
Speak with you. So
Oh,
I don't know what they want to do after they speak, but they might want to speak about it as well. So I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody's heard of the group or whatever. I didn't even have a chance to Google them yet, but so Free Speech for People. So I'm not sure what their deal is, but don't know. So maybe mark that again unread, or else that's going to be lost. Been very quiet in terms of hearing any further update from the Board of Elections on anything. You know, doesn't seem to have
Did
been
you
any
ever
follow-up.
even hear directly that it passed?
Just in terms of like, they didn't make us, they didn't
It was just,
Yeah. they didn't announce it to anybody. They didn't, comment on the problem.
Yeah.
So,
it's really.
Standing.
Are we still considering seeking a national spotlight?
I'll leave that up to the group. Scott, I know you were sort of interested.
Circle.
Well, I'm not necessarily in favor per se. I'm not necessarily not in favor either, but not decisive. But I don't know that, I mean, if it's the feel good aspect of the story, I think it's probably not that. I think it has longer shelf life than just the back to the results. Cause I mean, I kind of agree. Like my view right now is sort of like, we got what we needed. It happened. They responded to us. We're done. The story is now with the Board of Elections. If you got questions and you got, like, it's their thing to talk about now. On the other hand, the feel good aspect of like, hey, we rallied and did this, fine.
I agree that the urgency aspect is, but to echo the comments in the letter that we just read, at the risk of sounding conceited, she said we could serve as a model to anybody else that encounters a similar issue. I think that could be worthwhile of a wider audience than just press their do.
I think you're absolutely right. But what disappointed me about this whole experience was how terrible the local press was. But it's not atypical of what happens in the press. They had an interesting story. But what were they interested in? They were interested in crazy library seeks recall when it gets mushed. So that was the first story. And then they just repeated whatever we said and whatever the Board of Elections said and didn't really think about it. You didn't see any really analysis. No one was asking hard questions. I mean, it was really disappointing if you think about that.
I think you have a valid point.
I think it's a really interesting story, and I think it's an important story. And I always thought that. But given think about the news environment. Given what's currently going on, this is it's a good little story. But when the world is falling apart and we're having interesting engagements in South America and healthcare and the dysfunction of the government. I mean, there's just so much.
It's also a really bad little story in that if what you take away from it is that our elections can be completely inaccurate in little towns all around the country, then what does that say about the accuracy of the elections every 4 years? And there's been all this pushback that that it's all safe and reliable. Well, gee whiz, doesn't look like it's in this case. What does that say?
Well, that's why I think in some ways having, considering the current media environment, having a media that just literally repeats what we say and what the Board of Elections says could be a best case scenario, because it could have easily turned into a smear campaign one way or another in the media. So having
we had a sort of restrained gen. The very fact that the Board of Elections puts out a press release where you don't know what's going on and says, we'll keep you advised and issues nothing further, doesn't tell anyone about it.
Doesn't even say the vote
is
count
just
over.
an amazing story.
Yeah, if there was next to it, I think silence from.
That's what the focus should be. Yeah, but it shouldn't be us making.
I think that's right. I think enough. We sort of look like agent provocateurs.
Yeah.
Now, quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with being agent provocateurs, but we've got a responsibility to the organization.
Right.
I think my feeling is we got what we wanted. If someone expresses an interest in it, I think we should help them and express or explain what our experience was. I mean, I'm still angry because I think what the Board of Elections what the Board of Elections is was wrong.
Really?
And I think they really mishandled it.
Terrible.
And it was so easy not to. I mean, there was a course whereby they didn't need to go into the first letter was really sort of strange, in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately they got it right.
Well, Ultimately, the facts came out. I don't know if they got it right.
They contacted the vendors, they found out what was going on.
Right, but then they didn't, oh,
Well, they didn't want to tell that story.
yeah, well, they
No,
need
they
to tell
don't.
that story, it's their job.
I think that if we have the chance to say something and to educate people about this, then we need to do it.
I mean, I know Upper Hudson was sort of interested in just, this is,
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with something like this? So, I mean, I think it's interesting to be studied from the library perspective. I think it's an interesting national story for any number of reasons. I did send an email to MS Now and didn't expect to get anything from them and didn't. But if you take a look at, the news cycle on there, they're running as fast as they can. So
I'm still not completely clear on what actually went wrong on the ballot. So something was misaligned or something, right?
So it sounds like somehow the text was the text from the front or whatever was interfering with the circles on the back is my impression that caused a misread.
From my understanding, and I'm saying this is gospel truth, the ballots were so thin that the writing on the reverse side of the ballot was being scanned where the bubbles were for the 414.
Okay, so the no's had writing where the yeses didn't, and so the no's were getting.
Even yeses were being scanned. Well, what was it? No's were being scanned as no's, blanks were being scanned as no's, and yeses were being scanned as no vote or something like that.
yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I think there was an undercount.
No, way more no's than yeses.
Yes.
But yeses came first on the ballot, so, right? So
But
that
they
means,
didn't record all the votes. There was the difference between the total number of votes that were reportedly cast in the unofficial count was different than the total number of votes that were cast officially, I believe, by I think a substantial margin.
but I still can't get my head around how it was completely flipped.
It doesn't make, I'm looking at the ballot right now, and where the yeses would be, it's kind of, I don't know how it could have gone through as something different.
That still concerns me about the story.
Yeah, like,
It
we
is
still don't have an answer.
plausible,
Well, if you want,
but the organization of it.
if you want to, I'm not suggesting. If you did a FOIL request and get all the documents and you can see who spoke to whom, when, what they were being told by the vendors, what they concluded, that's all going to be documented. And you could actually find out exactly what went on. You could also find out when did they realize they had a problem? What did they do?
Just as a private citizen, you can do that?
Yes, that's under freedom of information law. And basically, they would be able to, and knowing, or based upon experience, they would be probably withholding deliberative discussions within the organization. But anything they spoke to with the vendors is all subject to disclosure. So you'd be able to, actually, that's the most important data. Because if my recollection of what happened is we sent our letter quickly, a couple of days later, there was indication that they knew what was going on and that the mistakes, and that there were mistakes and they were substantial. So very, very early on, they knew.
And from one of the news articles, I got the impression that also because of that Eastern North Greenbush proposition, also, like they had a reversal as well. They had a big, that sounded like there was maybe feedback from that area as well that was also having them look at like, oh, well, maybe there is something wrong because this also seems to be.
Oh, really? Did you hear that there were people complaining?
I'm not so much. I don't remember which article it was in, but it was something I thought it indicated something like, well, getting the
They were getting feedback from multiple sources.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
was
that another
a lot.
proposition was not.
But my recollection, is probably within 2 or 3 days of us communicating, they knew that problem. And they knew that it was substantial.
But they initially said the absolute opposite, that, everything.
Initially, it was like, that's the way, voters are fickle and that's the way things go. And
Yeah,
those,
too bad, guys.
yeah, those,
A vote is a vote. That's what they said.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The initial letter was
Ridiculous.
surprisingly strident.
And like you said, how many times if it's been 60-40 against, we would have thought.
Right, exactly, we wouldn't have pursued anything. So I guess one question is, so, I mean, I would just reply to this to say thank you, whatever your kind words, but an organization like the League of Women Voters seems to me and since they already want to talk to them, a more perhaps appropriate or whatever organization to pursue something like that FOIL
Absolutely.
request and get the more details.
I think that would be
Yeah.
fantastic, and they'd probably be interested in doing it too. Because they probably would like to understand exactly what.
Speech, the speech for people.
Oh, they are, okay.
They're right on their front page.
Okay.
Like, so it may be a referral kind of. back and
Okay.
forth, or a connection, similar connection with it.
So would anyone like me to do something further with this? To connect to somebody else to talk to them, to?
Did we provide them with copies of the 2 letters we received from you?
I mean, they're public, they're on our website, so I would think they have that, I mean, we can suggest it. I just don't, I mean, I would want, does somebody want to talk to this woman or?
I mean,
I don't know, it just seems like they would be a better venue for going that direction, right?
I mean, I have to say that I just feel really uncomfortable with that guy being the head of the Board of Elections. I mean, he's just outrageous. And the Democrat was MIA and.
well, I mean, the Democrat, unfortunately, the co-chair was sick. So
Right.
she was
And so the person felt like
who
they didn't
stepped
have.
in.
Yeah.
I mean, they had another person who was active in Democratic politics, sort of providing support. But Ed didn't have any official role. I mean, he was the fellow I was speaking primarily to. And he, interestingly enough, I mean, I think he had for space there, it seemed as if he was in meetings, he's fully aware of what was going on. So he was sort of acting in an advisor role. He was a former election commissioner there for 15 years. It was sort of unfortunate that I guess the person who was standing in seemed. Yeah, I have no knowledge as to what was done, but it seemed you got the feel that Henry was running the show.
Yes, and but I don't feel like it should be left alone.
So where we ended up on our next step. Do you want to? Why don't you somebody?
Say if you're interested in speaking to us about our experience. Share with you.
Next board meeting is such and such a date.
I think. Some of our topics.
It's going back to the bubbles, so it's interesting. It's like I was thinking about, when we do Scantrons at school, we only do one-sided Scantrons for that reason. Because if they bubble in hard enough, which they're meant to bubble in hard enough, on the reverse side, you see it it comes out in a gray format. So like if I took a black pen and I rubbed it in and I filled it in on the other side, it would read gray and it would read the opposite answers of what they're supposed to be. So they're going to, because it's happened, like they've misfed a Scantron and they read the answers. And if it's not bubbled in enough, you get a no set, you didn't answer the question. And if it's gray enough, it reads it, but it reads it as the wrong impression because it's flipped opposite. So that's the one reason why we never do double-sided screenshots.
They've been doing this kind of scanning for years.
Right.
I mean, every
That's what.
every combination is always
It's
like
on the back.
on the backs. They've always formatted it this way.
Did they always use the same?
The paper
Paper?
grade
The only-
may be different, so maybe
I wonder if
saving
that-
a little money.
Well, the difference this year that Jody was talking about was the fact that we used ballpoint pens instead of the Sharpies that we
Yeah.
normally use, and whether or not that could have done
And
something.
that's it, like the ballpoint is gonna put pressure and it like, it's almost like Braille. It creates a Braille imprint, where a Sharpie is dark enough, but it doesn't make an imprint. It just, it's a flat,
Yeah.
smooth experience. And so, you know,
What was interesting to me was really the controls, which they said they
Yeah.
had. They didn't describe what exactly they do up front before the machines are deployed, but.
But they said they did all the testing.
Henry said that they, I think, tested either the logic of the system or
Yeah.
there was some sort of technical pretest. And then when they deploy the machines, they run 5 or 6 ballots through them. Now, what that methodology is and why that didn't pick up something curious, because there were enough errors made. Maybe they should run 25 ballots.
Yeah, 5 or 6 isn't gonna do it.
Well, obviously not. It didn't
Yeah.
work there. So if you're talking about a better control, You're a
When
better
we were at
control.
when I was out there for the recount stuff, it sounded, Henry was talking a lot, and it sounded like he indicated something like there was an additional test on these machines, because the machines themselves are relatively new. So it sounded like there was another test that they didn't know about or whatever, that they didn't do, that would have caught this. Don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure, but that was,
So he was saying that they weren't advised to do it, or they didn't know they should do it, or?
yeah, something like that, like they weren't.
they
several men in the universe don't read the directions. So we do it, and it's not a. No. But like, my husband. Finds out later, well, you should have.
That's right, you just push buttons.
Right, but it had, you know.
They had problems with their machines, I think, 2 years ago. That's what it is.
Well, but they also had problems on the day of with people saying that they couldn't feed their ballots in, and he had said, oh, there were no issues at all on the day. So that was false.
When I voted,
No fault.
it never showed that it received my ballot. I do, I mean, when you voted, didn't it?
It shows you, yeah, it always says ballot
It
cast.
didn't.
ballot
Yeah.
cast.
Really?
And then when of course I said, okay, I'm out of
So what
here.
are you gonna do?
I mean, if they give me the detail, I was happy. But like when we got the results, I'm going,
I think this is an important thing enough to at least try and work with somebody to say we need to get this out there. But just personally, if we hadn't said anything and if we hadn't, we would never have known. And we, to
Well, I
me,
think
it's
that,
like,
I think we actually, we don't know that. We don't know that because we don't know what else was triggered and we don't know what else would have happened during their full audit and everything else. That's certainly, I understand what you're
Yes,
saying, but we don't really actually know that.
to a certain extent. However, if we just said, oh, according to this letter, sorry, we don't know, there's nothing else we can do about it, nothing would have happened.
Unless, as they probably would say, and might be true, that their further audits before they can certify the election would have uncovered this. And I just think we need to be careful that
there is a tremendous lack of information about what they actually do in connection with the certification mode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I looked at it because I was just curious. And what it looked like to me was that, and you saw part of the pre-certification or the, what they call it, the canvassing, where they have the machines, they run the tapes, they have everyone looking at of the stuff, and then the tapes are handed in. It's based upon what I've read, and I went to some of the manuals, and there are a whole lot of manuals. It looks like the recanvassing, they take a look at the tapes and they compare the tapes against the, they comparing against.
Like the book, right? Like the total number of people that voted based on what they.
Yeah, and they're comparing the tapes against another data source, but they're not recounting them. And if there's a discrepancy between, I think, the reported number of votes and what's shown on the tape,
Right.
then there's an automatic recount before they certify.
Yeah.
So that's done.
So that would have happened anyway.
It's not clear. Well, it's not clear to me that.
Or should have.
Yeah, it's not clear to me that which they would ordinarily check the tapes against would show a discrepancy. It sounds like chances are they would have.
Because
But
the total counts were off. In addition to everything being backwards.
but the counts are done by the machines. So the question is whether the machines would have recognized a discrepancy.
Yeah.
The thing which triggered my thinking that maybe it would have picked up was you had mentioned that, like in Skodak, there were people who said they voted yes, and those votes were recorded as yes. And that seemed like one of the things that might trigger further scrutiny.
They weren't recorded at all. Yeah.
So it may very well have, they may have had a different kind of count. So, I mean, it's not, I don't know. I mean, I would certainly.
But we know no matter what, that they never informed us. They never came clean about exactly what had happened and that the mistake had been made. And here.
Well, even more, I think, more concerning from just good practices. Our initial letter basically just said, we think something's wrong and we'll submit evidence to demonstrate it's wrong. Based upon what we've what we've spoken, we think there are a lot more votes cast. But their response should have been, show us what you got.
Yeah.
This isn't enough, but we'll withhold doing anything until you make whatever submissions. But the response, I think it was reported in the press, or maybe I was told, and I don't recall, was at least Henry was saying, well, not reported in the press was Henry's initial responses, we're not doing a recount.
Yeah, we're not going to do a recount.
But I think what he said to the press was like, these affidavits don't make a difference. There was some indication that that's not good enough. Now that's interesting and disturbing, because while our election law says if the spread between candidates is sufficiently small, you're going to do a recount. And there's nothing in terms of local regulations or anything that I saw in State Board of Election regulations discussing what you ought to be doing if there's some indicia that doesn't, what would trigger sort of further inquiry in what you ought to be doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when I was saying, like, is there any, when are we supposed to raise an issue? How do you do it? There's nothing there.
His guidance is it's all fine.
We just made it up.
Leave us alone.
So something that's occurring to me, we're talking about this, and I'm just talking top of my head here. I wonder if there is a way for us to play one more part in this that is not necessarily adversarial, but would be something like an open letter, and I think we would have to share it with the press to make a difference, to the Board of Elections, to saying, you know, reiterating that we're very happy that they were able to do this process and everything. But we are left with some questions, and I think our questions are not just, I think our questions are things that other people are now curious about and concerned about as well. And would they address them? And we could list out some of these specific things. And it puts the onus back on the Board of Elections in terms of answering them. But I don't know if we have a responsibility, but I suppose you could argue that we do, to make sure that the issue that occurred with us is being addressed and that we understand what happened and what they're doing to put in place for it not to. But I don't know, I'm just talking off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, so either we could do that, or an organization like the League of Women Voters, who that's what they're about, and they aren't partisan, right? They cover. So that might be a really great way to, if we could provide them with
I mean, their practice was deficient. They need to show that they have a plan of correction in place.
Yeah, and this is Rensselaer County.
Right.
Maybe they do the open letter, doesn't even have to come from us, but we can provide them with our concerns.
I think that's a good idea.
That's certainly what you're suggesting is one way to do it.
I feel depending on how serious we are about getting an actual answer, the open letter just leads back to the FOIL request. You know, because the FOIL request, they would have to respond.
I was thinking of asking one of my friends.
Yeah, well, we can do that without anybody.
Right.
We can just find out for ourselves, but that doesn't inform the populace. And something needs to be done for people at large. They're like, what the hell was this? This is crazy. Like, now I'm really worried about my vote.
A lot of people have been saying that when they come to the library.
Yeah, and that's
Definitely
not
a comment.
unreasonable.
Yeah.
Well, particularly with the Board of Elections is going, we've got this, everything's good.
Yeah.
And it's never gonna happen again.
Right.
It's sort of like working in government, bad things happen with IT.
And the thing, I mean, I think at the end of it, I still believe, I think that, like most things, it's usually errors and incompetence and, than anything grand scheme, it's just that those things do happen. So what are those things in place to make sure that it's,
I mean, I have no doubt that the Board of Elections will establish controls based upon this present experience to make sure that what happened last month won't happen again. But that's a retrospective look and addressing something which happened in the past. The question is not so much, I mean, one, you want to make sure that you'll repeat your mistake, but what controls are you putting in place to make sure that your election count's going to be accurate?
And also, I just don't think that they should have somebody in place who responds to a situation the way that you did. I assume position of power like that.
I assume, but I don't know that they're appointed by the parties.
Yeah, they're appointed by the county legislature.
So these are political players.
Right, but then they have carte blanche. If they totally screw up, it doesn't matter.
well, I mean, you could argue that if it's an embarrassment to the party, then they would have
Yeah, but it won't become an
repercussion,
embarrassment unless somebody makes it so.
And that, I think that part is definitely out of our
Right.
purview,
No, I agree with that.
but I think.
We can do it softly, just respond to the voters that's interested in party. We can speak to this group
Yeah.
and figure out who they are. I would say, let's do that.
I can talk to it. That's a good
And
way to go.
I mean, we can always, and so it's still the same story. It's really not time-based. Although obviously the closer you do to an election, more traction it's going to have.
In terms of spreading it to a wider audience, I feel the story is more than just the specific details of us, but rather reinforcing the idea that democracy is not something that just happens. It's something that requires being proactive.
I think that's
and vigilant and procedure. I think that's the real core story that could be spread rather than library versus board of elections.
Right, I totally agree with that.
See what I wrote down. I have it here. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely.
I say the first step is contact these guys, see what they say, think about where, if they might have contacts of nationally that we could, that they might think is a good way to continue on with things and,
Or they might know how to pursue getting further information about
Mhm.
exactly what happened.
Mhm.
They may have their few contacts already.
Yeah, I'm sure
they do.
But those are really nice letters.
Yeah, it was very nice. I think the other thing, Tim, to your point, a story like that is also something that can be written up, like in terms of that general, like you say, without specifics of the very details of ours, as a op-ed or letter to the editor or other things as well. That's just sort of a reminder of this is, like you say, democracy isn't just
It's
happening.
fragile one here.
You have to, yeah. And I think it's valuable to also, it's in this environment and with recent elections and the way results have been questioned, it's difficult to walk this line, but that we do have an obligation to ensure
I think the community
things and
organization facet
Mhm.
is the coolest part of this. Sort of like basically we had a problem. We
Mhm.
explained what we had in mind. People took the time to fill out affidavits. And Sue was really helpful. And basically a bunch of community members thought this is important enough to take the time and do this stuff. And I mean, I believe absent that, there's a possibility this wouldn't have been picked up.
A strong possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. But I think, sort of what we did and how it was handled was a nice, sort of like,
Great.
sort of like this is what democracy is. It's basically participation and voting support and making sure the vote's right and people caring about it and not giving up.
Yep.
When someone, when you get blown off, and
Yeah.
the Board of Elections says, you guys are just nut jobs.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
machines
Don't be a
couldn't have been that
sore loser.
the machines couldn't have been that wrong.
Right.
All right. If there's nothing else official, we're just going to pass that around. Should we just go ahead and adjourn and then we can finish reading that? I don't think there's any official business that has to continue after that point, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, motion to adjourn. Sarah makes the motion. A second. Okay. All in favor. All right. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll turn off the meeting and we'll.